Hello everyone. If you're watching this video, that probably means that you have bought one of the new GoGo Shopaway kits. This is the delightful kit by Pinkfresh Studio, and as part of the kit you will see that you have 4 sets of instructions, and you also get this one process video too. So I have done a little bit of prep work before I turned my camera on. I had worked out roughly what I was going to put, which papers with which photos. I'd kind of sorted backgrounds out, that kind of thing. And then for this one here, I'm planning to make a very large shaker pocket with the set of sprinkles that come in the kit. So you'll see that you have instructions for this layout too, yeah, hopefully this will be a good visual for you as well. So the first thing I'm doing is I've trimmed off the manufacturing strip from this stripy piece of paper, and I found the middle of the paper by measuring it, and then I've set my compass to, I think it's 3 3/4, then I've drawn a large circle in the middle. I'm cutting that out, but I'm making sure that I keep the edges of my circle and my paper intact. In other words, I want to use that circle later, and I need the layout to stay as one piece, not to cut through from the side. I'm just going to distress the inner edges of that aperture that I've just created, and now I'm going to make the shaker pocket. Now, I spent quite a while on video putting all the foam pads around the edges, so look at me go. And then once I started to peel them off, I realised I'd forgotten to add the acetate first. Silly me. So I turned the camera off and I peeled them all off again, and I added the acetate, which is what I should have done before I started, and then I added my foam pads again. So, you know, we're all human, accidents happen, mistakes happen, and it was obviously a bad day for me because I got that a bit wrong. So anyway, put your acetate onto the back of your layout. Then once that is stuck in place, then add a wall of foam pads going all the way around the edge. Look, I've just realised, oh no. But I thought, I finished adding the foam pads, only had 2 to go, and I might try and add the acetate on top. No, it didn't work. So I had to peel them all off, put the acetate on, put all of the foam pads back on. I've peeled all the backs off, and then I've added my sprinkles. Then I'm taking a sheet of white card, trimmed it down to 11.5 inches square, added tape around the edge, and I'm sticking it on the back of the layout there. So it's all nicely enclosed, and I have this fabulous shaker pocket. I got my glue slightly wrong when I added my acetate, so I've ended up with some tape on the wrong side of the acetate in a few little bits and little places. It's only just from where I went off the edge slightly when I was applying my tape, but it's come off okay. It's not too bad. As I say, mistakes happen. Don't feel bad if mistakes happen. If you watch videos all the time, quite often they look perfect. They're not, trust me, things happen. Okay, so I am taken the circle that was left over, and I've just trimmed it down a bit. I used my compass to make a smaller circle, and then I've just cut that out with scissors, and I have distressed the edges as well. And I'm sticking that over to the left side of the layout, but I'm offsetting it from the big circle, and I'm making sure that I match up the stripes. So it's just a bit of a different type of layout, really. I don't think I've ever made one that looks quite like this before. So, and that's saying something, because I think I have made every layout going in my time as a scrapbooker. Yeah, I just thought that was quite cool. It's great the way that the stripes match up. I have this one photo, it's a portrait photo, and it felt a bit awkward. I felt that it would have been better if I'd had 2 photos, but I didn't, I only had the one. So I had to work with what I had, I've mounted the photo onto a piece of that pink paper and distressed the edges of that. So it takes me a little while to get there, to figure out what I'm doing, what I want to do, how I want to arrange it. I want to use the doily, but the doily's not looking right. The photo's not looking right. I'm just at this point thinking, oh, I might have to sometimes it's best to just walk away and then come back if it's just not working out, because I had just envisaged that this little cluster on top of the circle would be easy, would work really well, but it just doesn't. I think it's, say, if I had 2, I was just testing out 2 photos. If I had 2 photos, I think it would be more balanced, but I don't. So I either need to change my photos completely and use something from a different occasion, or I need to balance the right side of the photo with something else. So that's what I'm going for. I've just taken a frame from the Pinkfresh Studio delightful cardstock stickers, and I've stuck it onto a piece of the packaging that came in the cardstock stickers. I've just stuck it on there and then cut it out and distress the edges, so that gives me effectively like a little journaling card type thing. And I'm going to layer that to the right of the photo, and I've got 2 of the diamonds cut, or 3 of the diamonds, sorry, cut from the paper with the diamonds on, the floral diamonds. So I've got those cut out as well, and I'm now much preferring that cluster with the photo, the frame, and the diamond. I just feel that that's all a much better balance and is coming out, you know, just looks a lot better. So I'm happy with that, so I'm going to stick it down and go for it. Okay, then there's the matter of the doily. At the moment you can see I've just completely discarded it because it just wasn't working. Although I did really want to bring in that bright gold doily because it really lifts the colours, because it is so bright and such a lovely shiny focal point. I did want to bring that in, but I'm just currently working out what I'm going to do with it. So I've added a couple of more of those diamonds from the diamond floral paper, and I've got one at the top to create a cluster up there and one at the bottom to create a cluster down there. Down the bottom I've also added a flower sticker, and I'm going to add chipboard flare. There's also a little label sticker that goes in that section, and some other bits and pieces. Just adding some label stickers to my photo. It says see good in all things and point of view. They're sat there looking at the sea, so that worked well for me. I've got This is the Good Life as my title, which is from one of the puffy stickers. Just adding in that little banner there, that little label from the stickers at the bottom. And then I just wanted to keep adding some bits and pieces to the photo. So I've gone for flowers. I've got other little label stickers as well. Oh, those 2 label stickers I'm raising up on, phrase stickers, I'm raising up on foam pads, so that they have a little bit of dimension. At the top I've added a Good Life chipboard flare. I really love the chipboard circles. I think they're really easy to use, add pops of colour to different points. They're also not an expensive product either. When we are in the current climate where scrapbooking products, along with every other product in the world, I think, is, you know, the prices are soaring, you know, like £7 for a pack of thickers or more, and you know, £1.50 for a sheet of paper is kind of crazy. But the chipboard flare from Pinkfresh Studio remain at a fairly decent price, and I think they're good value for what you get and the amount you get. So definitely I'm a fan of those. I've just added a little puffy wax seal sticker. You'll find that in your embellishment bag. I split a pack of those amongst all the kits. So all the kits have one of those each. Colours will vary. I've got a pink one. You might have a blue one or a green one or a yellow one. So all colours go with the layout. So it's fine. So that one's I've just added into that bottom cluster down there. And now I've taken that little scrap of paper that was in the embellishment bag. I only had 1 sheet of this paper remaining, but I really wanted to include some of it in the kit because it's just so bright and colourful and I love it. So I decided to cut it up into 9 pieces. Oh, I must have had 2 sheets because I've got more than 9 kits. And I then just cut up the little diamond. So you have a piece that's 4 by 4 square, and then I cut it up into little tiny diamonds, and then I've arranged those diamonds onto the layout in various points. I'm trying to go colour on colour. I did think that I would do a whole vertical line down the left side of the layout, but I didn't like it. It was competing with my diamond top cluster diamond, so I needed to rework that. So I'm just bringing them down a bit and I'm adding them to the clusters as opposed to creating a line, and that works much better. I've still got those purple ones at the bottom. Again, they're competing with the cluster at the bottom of the circle, so that just didn't work. So swipe those off there. So yeah, adding a few diamonds to each cluster, still trying to aim for colour on colour. So a pink diamond on a pink stripe, a purple diamond on a purple stripe, a yellow diamond on a yellow stripe, etc. And I've raised those all up on foam pads. They just add an extra little pop of colour. I say you don't need a lot of that paper, which is good news because we only had a 4 by 4 piece, right? But it goes a long way. I've used lots of diamonds on this layout, and I use lots of diamonds, I think, on layout 4 as well. And they just do add a bit of extra colour. So here I'm coming back with my doily, and I'm going to cut it in half and put one section down here, just poking out a little bit. That gold is quite overpowering, but I love it, and it's quite bright and lifts the colours of the layout. So I did want to include it, but to have a giant blob of gold would have been too much. So to have those two small bits poking out top and bottom of that smaller circle is ideal. I was just messing around with where my title was going to go. In the end, I decided it should stay where it looked, where I had originally thought, which is at the bottom of the photo. And now I'm just adding some extra bits and pieces from the embellishments that we have. So we have the sticker sheets, we have the chipboard flare, we have the enamel dots. Yeah, so I'm just adding the last few bits and pieces in, specifically the enamel dots. Again, I'm aiming for kind of colour on colour, not necessarily sticking to this rule quite so stringently as I did with the diamonds, but roughly aiming for that. I've got a blue one there at the bottom of that top diamond that's in the wrong place completely. But, these things happen, right? Okay, so that's pretty much my layout complete. I just need to add my journaling. Now, this is a striped paper, so it's really easy to write onto the background. So I've just written directly onto the background with a journaling pen. And then that layout is now finished. The only thing I'm going to add now is some white paint splatters. If you have white paint, fantastic. If you don't, you could use watercolors or any other paints you have in your stash. You don't necessarily have to use white acrylic. I just love a few splatters. So you could use an ink pad or whatever you've got, or you could just leave off the splatters completely. So I really hope that you have enjoyed seeing this kit layout come together, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the layouts in the kits too. Yeah, thank you so very much for buying a kit and for joining me today watching this video. Watch out for more kits. That was Nikki Rowland for GoGo Shopaway with the Pinkfresh Studio Delightful Kit.